player, if I was that player that the manager said that about, bro, my heart, my pride, my ego, embarrassment. For someone to question your application, to question your, like, going out there and giving 100% for your team, that you're going to slack off and you're taking shortcuts, like, that ain't. Listen, we all have days off, or we all have moments where we're not performing well or lacking confidence, but effort ain't really one of the things that I would want to be hearing a manager say that is lacking in my makeup. And that's a damning comment, that is.
We'll get back to Rio in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And also, if you've got something that you need to get off your chest, if you think we've missed something, if you think we are talking rubbish, please put it in the comments. I read all of the comments. So, an interesting little twist in the Marcus Rashford tale. Ruben Amorim came out and said he'd rather play his goalkeeping coach in the Man United team than Marcus Rashford, or at the very least alluded to that. It was glaringly obvious who he was talking about. And in this clip, Rio Ferdinand is going to be talking about what kind of impact that would have had on players like him, and what kind of impact would it have on Marcus Rashford even, perhaps? And stick around for after the clip, because I'm going to be giving my brutally honest take on this ever-developing circus around Manchester United and Marcus Rashford. Here's Rio.
Obviously, United beat Fulham 1-0. We both said it wasn't the most exciting game, but
Rubbish.
Amorim's response to a question whether there was a way back for Marcus Rashford was really interesting. And he said, in the second half, we needed pace up front, but I'd put the goalkeeper coach, Vital, who's aged 63, by the way, before I put a player who does not give the maximum every day. Now, Jody, I want to start with you on this one, just because obviously with your coaching experience, how did it irk you? How much did it irk you when players were not given their max? And what do you think of Amorim's comments?
It looks like he's talking about the obvious, which is Marcus Rashford. Do you think he's talking about Marcus Rashford?
So it comes across as,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no problem with that. I think when you're in a position where Man United are at the moment, where they're so far down the table for a club of that magnitude, and the performances which are being put in at the moment, which leave a lot to be desired anyway, the fact that you still can't force your way into this underperforming Man United team is kind of, I think it says quite a lot about you.
Yeah. I just look at it like, if I was a player, if I was that player that the manager said that about, bro, my heart, my pride, my ego, embarrassment. For someone to question your application, to question your, like, going out there and giving 100% for your team, that you're going to slack off and you're taking shortcuts, like, that ain't. Listen, we all have days off, or we all have moments where we're not performing well or lacking confidence, but effort ain't really one of the things that I would want to be hearing a manager say that is lacking in my makeup. And that's a damning comment, that is, because I think he knows what the reaction is after that comment. He ain't saying that without thinking that where does this go after. There ain't really no way back for Marcus after that, I don't think, with that type of comment. Because he's been in the building how long? I think he's had 11 games now, so he's had something like that, 11 games. So it's a good few weeks, yeah? A couple of months, more than a couple of months. And you're looking at it and going, he's only been there a short bit of time, and he's actually straight away gone. He's pulled out the 9mm revolver and just gone bang. Basically, that's what he's done. Because there ain't no way back from that. There ain't no because what that does is that says that, because if he comes back, that means other players can now take their foot off the gas and still have a way back in the team and just take shortcuts.
Unless he comes back with
No, but you can't.
Like enthusiastic, great training.
But
spirit.
But lads, I mean, I don't know if you both. I know I'm not a Man United fan, but for someone who really, really liked Rashford when he was a young kid coming through, I'm disappointed as a football fan. So if I'm disappointed, imagine what a lot of the Man United boys are. And when you're seeing the comments that kids, he's not even a kid anymore, he's 27 or something now, and when he's coming out with that he needs another challenge and all that, and you're going, we've just watched you for a couple of years strolled around a football pitch. Like that's damning enough. You don't need a manager now to just go and cement it or compound that. If you haven't recognised that previously, you've got a problem.
I would. The thing for me now, like if it ain't true, and it's me that he said that about, I am coming out all guns blazing. I'm holding a press conference. I'm coming out and saying, no, I ain't having no one chat about me like that in the media.
Yeah. But that happened with Sancho, and look how that turned out.
But again, he couldn't say that either.
And then, no, but he came out, something was being said about him.
No, but you only come out if you're 100% sure that nobody can say you take the shortcuts.
Jadon Sancho was looking a lot more like the player that was at Dortmund. But you can't ignore the fact that there was question marks being made about his application and professionalism.
To be fair to him, since that comment was made, he went away to Dortmund. He did good last season, made it to the Champions League final, and he's obviously gone to Chelsea as well. He's done a good job.
But what he's done is, what's happened though, Joe?
Yeah. He's gone away.
He's woke up.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what Jodie's saying about Marcus. When's the penny going to drop that he goes, it's not no one else's fault. Only person who can change this is me. It's not a manager deciding if I play or not. It's not a manager saying I've got to play a certain way. Or it's going training every day with a spring in your step because you're a lucky guy. We're all lucky people to have played this game. And do not ever count yourself that, anyone owes you anything. No, go and earn the right to play and earn the right to get plaudits.
And when you're talking about being lucky, there's a lot of us that were not as lucky as him to have his talent.
Yeah, crazy talent.
He has super talent.
Everyone says he's the most technical in the England team. Like he gets a lot of
all the players you hear talk about.
He's got lovely talent. But like you said, it's the old cliche of hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard.
Last point on the Rashford topic. I just want to say, do you think he was playing the contract game? Because if you've only signed a contract 2 years ago and you're on 350, 400, whatever it is per week, do you reckon he thought that allows him the leeway to not really do as much? It's bad thinking if
That's
it
bad
is.
Professionalism. I don't know any player in their right mind that thinks like that or should think like that. Listen, the amounts of money that the players are getting now is astounding. It's crazy. So it could sidetrack you a little bit, but you've worked all these years to get here. Mm-hmm. Then you get to the top of the mountain. Are you telling me you're just going to let it slide and just drip down the other side and not fight to stay up there? Mm-hmm. Doesn't make sense. These guys are built. They're built and made of good stuff just to get there. But then there's that little something else. It's the mentality. It's the mindset after that that's going to enable you to stay there. And I think you need good surroundings. You need good people around you as well. Or you need to be in a club that's a strong environment that can control you and help you. Because everyone has moments in their careers. We both had moments in our careers where we were stuttering because of bad decisions we might have made off the pitch or being around the wrong people. But especially me personally, I'll talk about myself. I tried to control that as much as possible. I made a lot of mistakes as a young kid coming up. Yeah. But I had to make big decisions during my career, cut certain people off, don't go here too often. I still enjoyed my life and I still love going out, etc., and having a laugh. But you've got to tweak stuff and you've got to be self-aware to know when to do stuff like that. Yeah. And I don't think enough of the kids today have enough self-awareness.
And also the culture of the club and what it was like to work with elder, experienced pros. Like when you step out of line, like they put you in check quickly.
Who was doing that with you?
Well, there was loads at Chelsea that you couldn't. I mean, fart the wrong way with Dennis Wise around me. I used to clean his boots, and he was my pro. And
yeah, with a comment like that, it does look like there's no way back for Marcus at Manchester United. But I think everyone feels that way. I think Marcus wants out now. It certainly doesn't look like Ruben Amorim wants him. So it's just best that part ways. But I mean, see, I remember when Wayne Rooney came out and made a statement and things like that. He questioned Manchester United, where they were going, and obviously Alex Ferguson was not happy about that. But Alex Ferguson was clever enough to tailor his statement, if you go back and look, to say that he's such a good player that obviously the door needs to be open for him. But, we can't be having any of this nonsense. But Ruben Amorim hasn't done that. Not really. He hasn't explicitly said anything of that nature. I mean, the only way Marcus Rashford can come back from that is by somehow convincing Amorim to allow him to have a second chance, release a statement to say, I'm going to prove everyone wrong, and that's it. And then he goes to training, he gives 100%, he smashes it, he finally gets a game, starts scoring left, right, and centre, then obviously, that could be the case. He could be integrated back into the fold and all of that, and all is forgiven and whatnot. But he's not going to do that, and it just makes me think about the kind of mentality Manchester United have had for a lot of the past 10 years, and it seems to be, they seem to have had a fair weather squad or fair weather squads. So when everything's rosy, when everyone's happy, they play nice football, they score goals and they win matches. But as soon as the ship starts to sink, as soon as results don't go their way, players start downing tools one after the other, and there's no one there to pull them back out of it. I mean, there's only so much Bruno Fernandes can do, for instance. There's only so much a player like Amad Diallo can do, for instance. Manchester United don't have players like Brian Robson or Roy Keane or Wayne Rooney or Giggs or Scholes anymore. Pros who have got determination and that are able to ride the storm and still manage to grind out victories even when the storm's closing in. And that was always the marker about Manchester United under Alex Ferguson. I mean, everyone talks about Fergie time and all of this, but it's just a headline, really. Because when I think of Fergie time, I think of that team not giving up. That's it. Because Fergie's teams, they never gave up. Alex Ferguson was undefeated as a manager throughout much of his time managing Manchester United. His teams were undefeated. Obviously, they lost matches, but they were undefeated. And what I mean by that, they ran out of time. They just ran out of time. They never, ever gave up. But these teams over the past few years, they just haven't given up, and they make an excellent point, which follows on from what I've just said there. There's a lot of players there who haven't had that older pro to sort of whip them into shape. I mean, Marcus Rashford had it a little bit when he had Rooney and Zlatan in the team, but they left when he was still quite young. And ever since Zlatan and Rooney left, I mean, you had a generation of player there that they weren't quite there mentally. As in, they didn't have that determination. They weren't great pros. They weren't fighters, so to speak. Because you had Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard dancing in the changing rooms after a Liverpool defeat and whatnot, which, that's not the sign of a champion. And Rio Ferdinand, I like what Rio Ferdinand says, that if that was him, and the manager said that about him, he'd be devastated. Absolutely devastated. I can't imagine Marcus Rashford being devastated after that statement by Ruben Amorim, because, I mean, he hasn't looked like he's cared for 18 months. I mean, they make the Sancho comparison there, and I suppose that's a fair comparison. About, the penny might have dropped. But, I mean, did it drop though? Because, Sancho dropped down a league. The Bundesliga is not the Premier League. Now, yes, he got to the Champions League final and he did well. But I wouldn't say he's come back to Chelsea, say, and set the world on fire. He's been all right, but he's done a job, but he's not an £85 million player, so to speak. 40, fair enough. I mean, I'd rather have Ahmad than Jadon Sancho, So, will the penny drop? I don't know. I think Marcus Rashford has just gotten tired of the constant rebuilds at Manchester United, and he just wants out, and he just wants a few years in a good team surrounded by positivity and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, what do you guys think? Will the penny drop for Rashford? Was Amorim harsh by saying what he said? Or is it an accurate statement? But you tell me, as ever, thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.